for you, because the citizens who you are going to ask for their votes in December are now asking you that you said you were better managers of the economy. You said never again, we'll never take you back to Dumsor. They are simply not interested in the explanations. All they want is their lights on.
Samson, thank you very much, and very good morning to Ben and Doug. First of all, I think you're right. The Ghanaians voted for us to solve the problem, and I think that when this government came into office, its primary goal was to fix the problem, and I started fixing the problem in earnest. And I think that the evidence of that is out there for people to see. 2017, 18, 19, the growth. Doc mentioned the macroeconomic management. All the indicators were properly aligned. So in terms of government owning the problem inherited and doing all it can to fix it, the record is demonstrable and people can see that. But on the issue specifically of Dumsor, I think that the first thing, and I think that is in order to do, is to apologize to Ghanaians. I think that that conversation has to be emphasized clearly, that what they want is the lights on. And this government had committed to do that until, I think March this year has not been very great. So I think that it's in order to acknowledge that. But I want to thank Ben particularly because his exposition on the matter has made it very simple. That it is not, as my brothers in the NDC have been in a hurry to politicize the issue, and that is the problem. Because they are in a hurry to equalize, to say, oh, we had Dumsor and you also have Dumsor. And that, for me, is the particular problem until this morning, listening to Ben, and the issue is laid bare. That is a practical problem of under-recovery. So you put a certain amount of power out there, or VRA, NETCO supplies that amount of power, and then you go to retail that power. Your recovery versus the cost of the power given to you to retail, there's a mismatch. And based on what we're learning, about 30% short of the full cost that you're supposed to recover. It's a practical problem. This one is not an issue of when Dumsor happened before and it was a question of generation and all that stuff. It is just a question of efficiency, recovery of ECG.
In his conclusion to the question, the answer to my question is that this is a matter of cash and incompetence.
Right.
Mixed.
Right.
That was the charge you leveled at the NDC.
Right. Well, so at this point, we have seen the source of the problem. Back then, it was a mix of issue, which cash related to procuring the gas and keeping the plants going. But now the plants are going. The issue of cash is at the terminal end of recovery. And so it's a question of ECG putting in place measures to recover that. One, in terms of the ones that they know have consumed the power but yet have not paid, which you are saying in excess of 260 million. And then two, the ones that are lost in transmission, which we're saying now that on the basis...
What I referenced was only to the health facilities.
Right, I'm saying that. So that's what we know for now. There's more. Now, and what we're learning also, best practice provides that even if you lose anything in transmission, it should be less than the 30% we're losing. So we've seen the source of the problem. And this one, based on what the diagnosis is, it is not government, which my people in the NDC should now appreciate and say, okay, well now, how do we help ECG to go after the money? Because we know where the money is. And Ben made a very important point that must be emphasized, which is that because of that under-recovery, the bill is sent to government to pay. So that it's not government that is creating a problem. It's a system that is creating a problem. That system we know.
It's not new, that's the point.
Understand, so it's a legacy problem, and I wanted to make sure.
It's always been there.
Yeah, it's a legacy problem. So how do we address that issue? And for me, if we we can have the NDC. In fact, Doc, I think you should speak more for the NDC, because in the small subtle politics that you put in there, I appreciate. But on balance, Doc has been fair to the matter to say that there are challenges, right? So what we have to do is to have the NDC, roll back on the politics and have us discuss the problem dispassionately and say that ECG needs help. What can we do? How do we fix that excessive loss in transmission? How do we get people to pay their bills? In fact, if that is done broadly...
When they face this recurrent problem, they told you not to politicize this. You refused to listen to them. So why should they listen to you today?
But I'm saying that back then, the challenge that were faced were twofold. One, directly looking at the government in terms of responsibility to deal with the generation problem. But here, it is consumption recovery issue, which is quite separate from what they faced. So right now, we can be dispassionate about it to say that as a country, what do we want to do with ECG to make sure that they are able to attain full cost recovery, to make sure that we don't have this deficit that creates the shortfall that then gets sent to government. And again, Ben made a very solid, important point, which is that then you then go to sacrifice the budget to then be able to pay for that. But the fiscal positions are locked in at the beginning of the year. So the flexibility...
What do you know is being done? Lives and livelihoods are at stake.
Right. You see, so government is working. And I think that... some very firm information that I have suggests that the situation has normalized and that going forward, the generation will be a bit stable. But that is just a moment in time. What we need to do based on the normalization of the situation would be, how do we tackle the problem we know is there? All right. And also, in addition to the problem, how it compounded this particular year, starting from January and the rest, I understand, I think Ben would know and Doc would know as well, some plans went down, not on a schedule, shutdown, but then were on,
I think they both mentioned.
Exactly.
Right.
So that also accounts for what the situation has been. And so for me, proper, we apologize. Second, we need to, take out the politics and tackle the issue. And I think Ben has set it up properly. And if we follow that dimension, I think that we'll get where the problem is.
For the nearly 3 decades that I've done this job, I've had these assurances about fixing this problem long term. What's the guarantee that this time it will be fixed?
Well, this time, if we take away the politics, is key. Because as I keep telling you and praising Ben, I listened to him on Good Morning Ghana. I wasn't very convinced. I meant to call you. But the way you set it up today is clear. You understand? I think maybe the line of questioning helped to break it down and you were able to put the bare fact information. So we know where the problem is now. How do we help ECG to recover? We know the issue of power thievery, we know exists. How do we solve it? And if we can focus on that and begin to come up with ideas in this country, I think we have the capacity to do that. Doc is here, Ben is here, very seasoned people. Let's apply brain power to that and see how do we tackle the deficit that ECG is incurring. And that is what is creating the problem.
Yes, so